The Lunaverse, Season 2, Episode 3, by Rainbow Double Dash, Magic Tutor, Chapter 3, Repeating Mistakes. The foals piled into the residence sink, and Trixie directed them to go to her living room, make themselves comfortable. Once they were all out of sight, she stepped out of her home without the raindrops. What is going on? She demanded in a low voice as she closed the door behind her. I don't know, Raindrops responded, throwing her aside. One moment it was me and Snails striding down there with Dinky and Dinky. Then, just as we reached the gate, Skittles falls in her scooter's wagon! Trixie turned to glare at Scootaloo. Her eyes Philly looked back confusedly for a moment, before I realized Trixie didn't look for survival instincts kicked in. Oh, she said, glancing around a few moments, before her ears and wings perked. Yeah, right. So, Trixie crouched Philly shot off at full speed, leaving a dust cloud behind her. She moved too quickly for Trixie to even consider using telekinesis. I guess they were so confused or something, she said. Steele's probably told a bunch of folks at school they wanted to come over and learn magic with him and Dinky. Trixie turned to Raindrops, one eye twisting slightly. There is a huge and wanting to be 2 hours. Trixie shook her head. This is to show them spells. Teach them stuff. I don't even know who half of them are! Flickering wings flaring. Trixie, Raindrops said, waving a hump in the sky. I can't say, Trixie. I'm sorry. But turned around. But what am I going to do? Looking over her shoulder. Well, if you really think you can't handle it, she said, she'll let the foals know there's been a misunderstanding. Snails and Dinky on their way. We don't want to turn this into another Owen, do we? Trixie blanched, once again making cunning noises of her host. Totally different, she insisted. Hopefully, Raindrops responded, before turning again and heading out towards the weather station. Trixie watched her go for a few moments, then glanced down at her own hooves. Raindrops wasn't the most verbose of ponies, but she sure had a way of packing a lot of meaning into single-word statements. After a few moments, Trixie looked back up, grit her teeth. She's right, she said to no pony in particular, turning back towards her door, trying towards it determinedly. She's right! Yet it's test! But I gotta tell the truth. I have to. Trixie opened her door and found herself staring at a small, gray unicorn filly with blonde mane. Dinky. Dinky was looking at her confusedly. Trixie stared back for a few moments. Hi, kiddo, Trixie said before stepping into her home. Is everything okay? Dinky considered, sitting back on her haunches and tapping her front hooves together. Looking at Trixie. Any pony in the world as good as the pony. Briefly pondering what would happen to the world if Dinky ever learned to consciously invoke that luck. She said, and my friend. But Snails is my friend too. So I was hoping that you and me could help him learn to use his magic better. Thinking that, but sometimes Snails, she asked, so you down Firelock Kitchen? Trixie shook her head. There's been some misunderstanding. Trixie stood up and smiled. But, as the two trolls talking to each other, she's a little jealous. Trixie thought it was. Wait, did she pick that up from me? Dissy said that Dinky's becoming a little more sarcastic, helping her. She entered the living room, with the worry that she was corrupting the euphemisms under around her couches. Snails and Snips were sitting on the couches, and a white-coated unicorn were on the floor, meanwhile, singing a song and clapping nails. She was keeping an eye on the orange filly with a pale red mane. Said filly was next to Trixie's wall. No, not the light itself, Trixie realized. This there was a gently. Either she was lost in thought, or lost in surprisingly, that got everybody's attention. Snails into their conversation, and all 6 foals turned to look at Trixie as expecting her to show them how to perform amazing figments, and how to create things out of thin air. How to... Trixie shook her head. No, that was a trap. She wasn't going to fall into it. Okay, she said, making a cunning motion with her expected. We thought Snails and Dinky were going to be here. The light-coated filly smiled broadly at that. Magic now, right? She said. It's your special talent, Trixie Falls Magic. Trixie stiffened a little, looking at Snails. That is not my special talent!
It's, doing magic for others, right?
Trixie Blue said. Because to teach us magic, you'll have to do magic to show it to us. Trixie rubbed the hoof against the back of her neck. Trixie, indeed, that was the very reason she had given Pokey Pierce a few moments, she said. That is true, but I was really only expecting Dinky and Snails. Like I only had 5 foals. Say Dinky and flinked a few times. You, she exclaimed. The orange filly insisted. How come you're going to show them and not us? That's like if Vince Cheerly was only could teach us one of us math. They gave us the same math tests. I'm not giving any pony a test right now. She took in a deep breath and held up a huff. I'm sorry. Nikki's my magician's assistant. She helps me out with my magic shows. So of course I'm going to show her magic. And I'm helping Snails because he's not doing enough magic. It's giving him headaches and insomnia.
Huh?
Snails asked. He can't get to sleep.
Oh.
Trixie closed her eyes and died. Good. The situation seems to be under control. It's just that this is very short notice, she said. I was only expecting 2 foals. I'm really very glad and very honored to show you all magic. But I don't think... Trixie opened her eyes and saw all 5 foals on the verge of tears. Lips quavering, hair sitting, eyes wide and wiry. But we said, the white filly said, we just really feel so much better with my magic at my age. And Mama doesn't have enough time to teach me everything, the winged one said, looking down at her hooves, wings clinging tightly to her side. And Papa can't help. And I just want to hang out with my friend, Sniff said. And Trixie's mouth opened and closed a few times. Said Snails, who had a comforting hoof on Sniff's withers. Dinky meanwhile was looking between all the foals. This will be torn between worried her friends would be disappointed. Trixie shrugged her shoulders, covered her eyes a little hoof, and let out a sigh. But I can help you all a little. Yay, okay? Yay! A sixth sense of hose was thrown to the sky in joy, tears disappearing instantly. And these foals just played her? There's no way that was possible. They were too young to know how to do that. Okay, she said. What, Jason? The yours one said with a beaming smile. I know, but so let's go around in a circle. You can introduce yourselves. Trixie nodded, smiling. Back during the longest, repeatedly formed a semicircle in front of Trixie. She pointed to one furthest and one with wings. So, let's start. Full start. So was not a good start. I'm sorry, she quickly said. Just, okay. What's your name? A moment before answering. Oh, Trixie nodded, leaning to look a little to her side. Special talent will be pottery. I don't know why I haven't gotten my cutie mark yet. I know my special talent. Trixie helped her. It might be something else, Trixie said. Or there might be some special quality about pottery you haven't discovered. I knew from the day I was just like my grandpapa. But it wasn't until I realized that it wasn't just doing magic, but doing magic in a way that made an impact on the lives of ponies in some way that I earned my cutie mark. Can we hear your cutie mark story? Snow said in its own way. But she was also pretty sure it wasn't the sort of thing maybe some other time. She looked at the white filly next to Lula. Okay, you said you were Rardy's little sister. The filly nodded. So you know, she identified. So child's gonna be. Me and Skillet try to earn ours all the time, but nothing ever seems to stick. Just Laura nodded. They looked at the next filly expectantly. Tissy foot. Phil said, I don't know what my special child's gonna be either. Ruffle supple, Snip said. Snip blushed, and she looked away. Trixie also smiled at that. She knew Truffle Stuffle, or at least knew of him. Does some pony here have a... She asked, leaning a little. Maybe, Trixie said, rubbing one hoof against the opposite leg. Not denying it, Trixie said with surprise. Yes, actually pretty mature for a filly your age. Trixie shook her head. I'm waiting for Hearts and Jose. Trixie tusked. Sure, she had issues when it came to intimacy, but it's the Orleans after all. Might not want to wait. You'll necessarily end on ridicule the fatal animal. Awful looked at her eyes. Zutalo, she sighed. And you... The filly, she said, and my special talent is fire! Trixie blinked, glancing at the pony's side. The flank was bare. You sure? She asked. It might be something else. Firelock shook her head. Well, I mean, you said it might be something. A fire science, or specter, or fire magic, or... Trixie had Phoenix breeder, fire eating, fire wrangling, or... Okay, Firelock, is it? Yes, very good. So I have... Okay, what is mean girly, right? Snips nodded. Snails. Miss Verity said that was good enough to let me actually do it when I offered. But my dad lets me help out his barbershop. I can do tails and beards too. She wasn't very surprised. Verity didn't allow Snips to touch her mane. Trixie could only assume that for cutting and styling manes didn't necessarily mean one's own personal style choices were going to be typical. She turned her nose, the his creepy curlies. Snails laughed a little, glancing at his own.
I like animals, but especially invertebrates protected equestria.
'Cause they're gross, Slee said, sticking her tongue out a little. What?
So are dogs.
I'm not.
Are too. They drool, don't they?
Slee melted and responded. Snails had a point. And of course, a special talent dealing with bugs and snails and worms and other such animals, to creepy crawlies, Snails could find no sorts of friends, as he learned more about his special talent. Trixie looked at the last foal. And Dicky Doo, she said. You know every pony here already, right? Dicky nodded. I don't know what special talents can do me. She said, glancing at her. I'm so potential. Trixie, she said, looking at Dinky. Now, Dinky, you have been here the longest. For today is my teacher's assistant. Dinky brightened a little at their responsibility. What do I do? She asked. Trixie thought a moment. Go to the basement and grab some of the golf balls I used for tricks. As many as you can carry. Dinky nodded, dashing off. Trixie, meanwhile, stood and held a hoof out to her side. As long as I'm teaching magic, I'll need my magic hat. Her horn glowed, and with a blue flash of pop, her hat appeared in her hoof. She put it on as silently as she could. The foal supplied politely. Trixie smiled. To begin, she said, casting her magic sight spell, we'll need to see where all of you are with your magic. Can you all make your horns glow? There were nods, followed by each of the 6 foals lighting up their horns. Some of them were caused to assist easily enough. The pale lavender glow of Tootsie seemed to be the strongest, though Firelock's own red evanescence wasn't far behind. Snails' green gold and Sweetie's lime green magic were the weakest, meanwhile. The 2 remaining foals, a little of purple magic and Snails with orange, seemed to be roughly in between the 2. More importantly, through her magic sight, Trixie saw that Snails, and lesser extent Sweetie, were both under-channeling, while the remaining 4 seemed to be channeling just the right amount of magic. Trixie tapped a hoof to her mouth as she regarded Tootsie Flu in particular. Magic flowed from her inner reserves, though her horn went with very little effort. Even Dinky, after months of practice with Trixie, was quite at the same level. Those who from Tootsie, your magic seems to be pretty good already. She noticed he canceled her magic sight. Tootsie nodded as he said nervously, My mama and papa are good. Dinky's voice there saw that Philly was coming with a small bag. The Trixie kept multicolored golf bag kinesis. A few days was I really hope I'm not corrupting you for Punkill. Tracy mused. Tracy took the bag from Dinky and hooked out 3 balls. Okay, Tracy said. Every pony loves eat just 1 ball. Each ball was capable of it, but Sweetie and Snails both visibly struggled. Tracy considered. Okay, Sweetie, Snails, take a break. Here's something else. Try to get 2 at the same time. It's 2 different grips. Sweetie and Snails both looked dejected at being told to sit out picking up 2 balls. But Trixie made sure to give them a reassuring smile. The remaining ponies managed, too, but Lula dropped hers after a few moments. Firelight not soon after. Trixie looked between Dicky and Tootsie. Okay, now each of you try for free, she said. Tootsie and Dicky both managed to pick up their 3 balls without a problem. I could lift a whole lot more. So can I, Dicky insisted. Tootsie grinned, standing, though only to drop into a towsy stoop. You're on! She proclaimed, horn flaring slightly. Dicky met the grin eagerly, but not standing, instead closing her eyes and spreading her front hose wide. Sis and Snails' golf balls were lifted in Aurora, while Tootsie grabbed a little of Firelocks. Dicky took one for Sleeve's pile, and Tootsie another. That's when the problems began. Pale lavender aura started to close the remaining ball, while darker lavender aura tried for as well. Dicky opened an eye, looking at Tootsie. Caught between the 2 auras, trying to pull in opposite directions, the ball began to shatter. Trixie glanced between them, raising her eyebrows. You 2 are... Yeah, but I can hold way more. I can too. Neither of them released their holds on the remaining golf ball. Trixie glanced between the two. Actually, I broke your limits. She said, it's okay. You're only fools. No, not my limit. Either. Trixie said. The other fools backed away a few pieces. Trixie said, look, so we can move on. And let go of that one. Dixie and Dinky glanced at Trixie, then back to each other. The revolver they had was lowered to the ground, but they continued their struggle to remain one. I want to hold on to it. Yes, Trixie, don't let go. If I will, if you do. I heard it, sister. I'll have to clean the golf balls for her after we're done. Compressed as it was between the two unicorn fillies, there's only two things that could have happened to the golf ball eventually. The first would be crushed between the two Tonkin Agoras, reduced to powder. However, neither filly was strong enough to manage under normal circumstances. The second thing that could happen, held it was an imperfect chorus of little foals. The two were not really applying pressure equally across the surface of the ball. For a brief moment, they both applied pressure equally on one side, while the grip on the other was just a little too loose. The ball suddenly shot out of their aura. Time seemed to slow for Trixie as the ball flew. She tracked it. First, it hit a wall, then bounced off, leaving a dent. Next, it collided with the edge of a bookcase. This sent it rocketing towards the ground, where it bounced and proceeded to head straight for Trixie's head. Her slow, persistent time, what Trixie wanted to do was catch the ball diagonally, put it away, then lay it down with a little bit of the law onto Dinky and Tootsie over doing what she told her to do, when she told her to do it. What actually happened was the ball smacked her right between the eyes. Her world was stars and pain, and Gothball as he stumbled over. The world was a bright, floating cloud sky. Its green field as 5 Street Trixie Little Moon, dressed in her finest Sunday get-up, trotted through the wagon. I think, Trixie says. She set down her golf ball on the tree, proceeded to hit the ball for her, sending it bounce off a nearby tree into Trixie's head. Then, the tree moved over her, and the moon went down while day turned to night and stars into sunflowers. A hole in one. Very good, Your Excellency. What turned out, he didn't really exist. Where he'd been standing was now a picture of a nightmare. It looks like it. Cool. So he clung to her and started shaking her back and forth, back and forth. The world slowly faded back into reality as Trixie realized she was being shaken awake. Seeing her eye on the other side of her, shaking the Trixie. Awake! I'm awake! Trixie proclaimed. I'm awake. I'm awake. Yes. Ow. We didn't mean to. Honest, Tootsie Ann. We're sorry killing you. Trixie heard about half of what she closed her eyes and put her hopes to her head, trying to get the world to stop spinning. You'll walk straight after Uncle Sky Shepherd's moonshine. You can recover from this. She insisted over the pounding in her head. A key, Trixie said, raising her hope and waving at it too. It's ow! La patrie, la traversée, la patrie. It's okay. It was an accident. She rubbed her head and looked at her hoof. She didn't see any red. That was probably good. A key, Trixie said, standing. She wobbled a few times, but was otherwise okay. She looked at the falls. A key. So that happened. Dinky, Trixie, don't fight. Let's just move on. Wait. The falls. They can't begin to be sure. Yeah, we're definitely right. Where did the one with wings? All lost, Nails provided. Yeah, her. Where's Alula and Firelock? Firelock, Sweet corrected, pointing to the living store. We were looking for a fresh ancient, and he said there was one in the basement. Trixie nodded. She was normally better with names, too. She decided to blame the blunt force trauma. And I know. Okay. Once they can get back, we can. Oh, hey, cool fireworks! A voice called. It came from outside the living room, down the hall, from the basement. Sounds like Firelock's voice. She remembered what Firelock wanted her special talent to be. She remembered seeing Firelock staring, also that thought, as a simple gas-like flame. And she remembered that was